when Cyrene dwelt inside me. I dreamed many dreams, dreams of a terrible period. I beheld a world akin to our own, and I saw the birth of a mighty empire. In this vast realm brimming with possibilities, humans emerged and began to thrive through production and trade. Each kingdom minted its own coins to facilitate exchanges. But lo, one empire sought to control the entire world. It attempted to invade other lands, but was fiercely resisted. Thus, it devised a new strategy. This empire spoke with the rulers of other kingdoms and persuaded them to adopt a single currency, controlled by the empire itself. It struck agreements with most regions, and those that disagreed were swayed through diplomacy. Now, with monetary control over the world, the empire sought to grow and build monuments in its own honor. But the ruler's own wealth was insufficient for the task. The king of the empire made a decision. He ordered the royal mints to produce more coins and used them to finance new endeavors. He also distributed freshly minted coins to institutions that safeguarded the people's wealth, enabling them to lend cheaply and foster businesses. This king had a brilliant idea. Seeing that these institutions stored the people's money, and they did not withdraw all their funds at once, he allowed them to hold only 10% of the total value in reserve, with the remaining 90% available for lending. These institutions could also lend coins to one another, and only 10% of the borrowed coins needed to be held in reserve. This created a multiplier effect throughout the system. The king believed this to be a path to riches, but scholars of the time warned him that these actions would have dire consequences, diluting the people's purchasing power due to rising prices, particularly for the poor. Thus, the empire's growth would be fleeting and unsustainable. The king ordered many of these scholars imprisoned or executed. Some were bribed to create theories and spread the notion that this economic maneuver was beneficial for all. The remaining scholars, neither dead nor bribed, chose to align themselves with the king, knowing that the dilution of purchasing power would impact them less if they received the new money directly, rather than the poor, and thus they could grow wealthy. At last, the royal mints began working fervently, forging vast quantities of new coins for the king. With this, numerous projects were funded, a more powerful army prepared, and merchants and traders established ever more businesses, as borrowing money was cheap. It was a time of bonanza. The king seemed to be right, as the empire had never seen such wealth and prosperity. Though neighboring began to suffer from rising prices and impoverishment, the empire appeared untroubled. This process continued for years, but on a fateful day, the empire's prices began to soar and the populace grew restless. The king, fearing revolution, ordered even more money to be minted and distributed. This was not a solution, but a temporary reprieve. Years later, prices rose again. The people grew dissatisfied and threatened to depose the king. Once again, he ordered the minting of coins and their distribution to appease the people. A grave emergency arose within the empire, and the king commanded a vast amount of new coins to be minted to finance the response. The crisis was resolved, but now so many coins circulated within the empire that prices skyrocketed. The people rebelled, for even basic goods became unaffordable. The king sought a definitive solution from his advisors, as previous measures had only worsened the situation. He was advised to destroy coins and restrict lending in the hopes of lowering prices. The king gave the order, and this began to unfold. Without easy access to money and with their debts mounting, the empire's merchants and traders began to fail. People lost their jobs, productivity plummeted, and banks were left without repayments. To force the king to mint more coins and provide them to the banks, a rumor spread among the people that the banks lacked their money and would collapse, taking their savings with them. This incited panic, and the people rushed to withdraw their savings. Since the banks held only 10% of the deposited sums, they began to crumble. The king faced a dilemma. He could order more coins to be minted and given to the banks to avert immediate collapse, knowing this would impoverish the people in the future, or continue destroying coins to lower prices, risking systemic failure and his own deposition. There was no easy answer to a problem the king himself had created and been warned about. The king made his final decision. Hoping to maintain power, he halted the destruction of coins and ordered the rapid minting of new ones to inject into the economy. But it was too late. The people had lost faith in the currency, and the royal mints could not produce the necessary coins in time. Prices soared even higher, merchants and banks failed, and the people grew poorer. Dissatisfaction led to civil war, which tore the empire apart from within, bringing an end to this chapter in history. Well, what if I told you that there were other regions in that world that were doing the exact same thing as this empire at this exact same time period? This is the dream I witnessed. I hope these decisions are not taken in Valeria, as the consequences would be disastrous. May your reign be long and prosperous, and your people know no strife, Queen Kashua, from your friend and fellow warrior, IURIA WOLPH.